Alright. What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and it is time for another discussion video. We're going to be taking a look at the latest information from Phantom Revenge, the deck building set coming to the OCG. Now, I did a video a couple of weeks ago talking about this deck building set, and I have another separate video just to talk some more about that and my overall, processing things about deck building sets because I have a lot of opinions about it. But for right now, we got to talk about the new monster archetype coming in the deck building set of Phantom's Revenge, and that is the Hecatoncheire, the series of monsters that are going to be associated with the fusion mechanic and taking on the resemblance of gods and gods themselves. So this is an archetype primarily built on fusion. And one of the biggest abilities of these cards that may trigger some other abilities or sets is that the monsters, the fusions, and the effect monsters have the ability where if they battle an opponent's monster, neither are destroyed by that battle. So it is a continuous effect they all share. And it's a very unique effect as well because I have some questions about it that maybe reading through the rest of the cards, once I get to them, I will, because of course, recordings. You always got to prepare for. You can't always prepare for things, but you got to make sure you can prepare for them. Just in case, right? Right. So I'm going to be taking a look at these, and how I'm going to structure it is that I'm going to just tell you now that that's the last and the only time that you'll ever hear me talk about the uh, when this card battles an opponent's monster, neither monster are destroyed by that battle. So that way it saves convenience on time because I really want to get through this, and then I just want to give my big explanation for it because I'm very hungry and my food is here. So, the Hecatoncheire, just for a big recap, are cards that resemble the gods, and the gods that were reshaping the world or recreating a world. We really can't tell by their just off of what we see. But like they said, a picture says 1,000 words, right? And my understanding is that they are rebuilding a world that was shattered by pain and suffering. Or maybe these are the gods that caused it themselves and are trying to rewrite their mistake. Now, as many of you know, Yu-Gi-Oh's archetypes, they definitely touch that line of heaven and hell. They've touched the line of angels being, dark attribute. They've had those light fiends. And now what it seems like the illusions are getting in on this cast as well. So it's definitely going to be taking some things there. And while this is a fusion-based archetype, I definitely want to understand and know what their setup and lineup are for fusion monsters and how they're going to approach it. So we're going to go ahead and we're starting off with Hecatoncheire Ilb. Or or Abil? Yeah, Abel. Abel is a level 6 light attribute illusion monster. 1600 attack, 2100 defense. And you use each of its following effects once per turn, each excluding the battle effect. Which are, so I'll read it as normal and then you can basically piece it together. But this card says the first and the third effect of this card's name can only be used once per turn each. This applies to many of the monsters coming later on, as they will have that effect, which is effect number 2. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. So it's a reference to that, but these seem as continuous effects. Now, for the once per turn abilities, Evil says that if you reveal this card in your hand, to shuffle it into your deck, and it's just summon one Hecatoncheire monster from your deck in defense position, except for one copy of this card. Then, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one Hecatoncheire monster in your graveyard, except for Hecatoncheire Lib, and then special summon it. To the opposite of it is Hecatoncheire Yadel. Yadel is a level 6 light attribute illusion monster with the inverse attack of 1600 attack, 2100 defense. So, this monster It says that it cannot be destroyed by, if this card battles an opponent's monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. But it has its unique effects that can only use once per turn each. So its unique effects reads, you can reveal this card in your hand to then shuffle it into your deck and then add one hit country, spell, or trap from your deck to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one hit country, spell, or trap in the graveyard and set it. Then we move on to Hecatoncheire Gados. Gados is a level 7 Dark Attribute Illusion monster with 2300 attack and 200 defense. You can use the first and third effect of this card's name once per turn each. If cards or cards are sent from your opponent's hand are added to your opponent's hand except during the draw phase, you summon this card from your hand. During your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard and summon it to your field, but banish it when it leaves the field. Then we have Hecatoncheire Gaios. Gaios is a level 7 Dark Attribute Illusion monster, 1200 attack, 2800 defense. You use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn each. If cards or cards are added to your opponent's hand, except during the draw phase, you can special summon this card. During the main phase, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. It is special summon one excavated monster, and the rest are shuffled and then back to the are also shuffled back into the deck. Then Hecatoncheire Breeze. Breeze. Breeze is also a level 7 Dark Attribute Illusion type monster. Wonders is a shared inverse. Not quite, but somewhat. 2800 attack, but 1300 defense. And you use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn each, which I believe is revealing it to your opponent's hand. If cards are added to your opponent's hand during outside the draw, you can reveal this card from your hand as a sub-in. Here. During your opponent's main phase, you can look at one random card in your opponent's hand, and if it's a monster, you can special summon it to your field. Then we have the fusion monsters. So this is Hecatoncheire Jaza, the level 8 light attribute illusion monster with 2400 attack, 2500 defense. Requires one Hecatoncheire monster and one illusion monster. Must first be fusion summoned or special summoned from your extra deck by attributing one illusion monster and one face-up monster you control owned by your opponent. Oh, man. You use the first effect of this card's name once per turn each, which is during the main phase. You can add one Hecatoncheire card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. By the way, it holds the same ability like the others, where it cannot be destroyed in the monster battle and it cannot be destroyed by battle. The second monster up is Hecatoncheire Xeno. Level 9 Dark Attribute Illusion Fusion monster with 3400 attack and 3500 defense. Requires 3 Hecatoncheire monsters, and you can use the first and third effect of card name once per turn each. During your main phase quick effect, you can look at 2 random face-down cards your opponent's extra deck, and if you do, you special summon one of them to your field. If this card, fusion summon, in the owner's control is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you can take control of as many monsters they control. Then from there we have the field spell. This is Hecatoncheire Tartarus. The quick play spell Hecatoncheire Tartarus. Sorry, I got my icons and stuff. Oops. So this card, excuse me. Says you only activate one of these effects per turn, but you can only choose each effect of this card's name once per turn. So there's not a. Oh, I'm sorry. But you can only choose each effect. Okay, so you can use each effect if they're once per turn each. Why just say that? Okay, anyway. If you control a Hecatoncheire monster, you target one solo check out your opponent controls and return it to the hand. Fusion summon one Hecatoncheire fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing it and material from your field. Excuse me. And or graveyard. If you use face-up monsters you control by your opponent's monster, you can treat them as Hecatoncheire cards. Alright, then Itilab Hecatoncheire. This is a counter trap, and it says you only activate one card with this card's name once per turn. When your opponent activates a monster effect or you control a Hecatoncheire monster, they get the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster, and then you submit it to your field. The opposite of it is Yado Hecatoncheire, another counter trap that says you activate one card with this card's name once per turn each. When your opponent activates a spell or trap and you control a Hecatoncheire monster, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card, then you can set it to your field. Then we got reprints of Master Tao the Chanter in Eye of Illusions. I believe Eye of Illusions is a quick play spell that helps with illusion fusion monsters and kind of works like a super poly. And Master Tao the Chanter is a retrain of the old Master Tao, or Tao the Chanter, which is a spellcaster type monster that is remotely similar to that. Now, excusing all the yawning and the lack of sleep I've gotten, my first impressions on this archetype. Monsters that cannot be destroyed by battle, that time, okay. That battle. Not bad effect, but pretty solid for everything else. You have searchers. You have monsters that can special summon. While there aren't too many low-level summons in this archetype, remember, this is an archetype based off of fusion. And while many of them have the ability to pull themselves together and then, set up for the alignment of things, it doesn't really seem like you're going to need a polymerization. No, you're going to need polymerization. You're going to need poly. Which I'm shocked that for a fusion archetype they don't really... Oh no, they do have a fusion spell. It's a quick play spell. Hecatoncheire Tartarus, which still, boss ability for a fusion spell. Being able to only take control, not only was it to stop a spell or trap effect and your opponent hasn't returned to the hand, but then being able to fusion summon by banishing monsters from your field or graveyard, and then including your opponent's monsters and treating them as Hecatoncheire cards, to get rid of their problematic cards and then be able to fuse them off. Pretty good concept. Kind of reminds me of how Shadal worked. When, Shadal fusion said if your opponent has a monster from the extra deck that was special summon, you can fusion summon and send monsters from your deck to the graveyard for the fusion summon. Which kind of doesn't work exactly here, but taking control of your opponent's monster and then treating it as your archetype specific cards and then fusing with it, right there on the money. Trap cards, great. Counter traps, which works even better for them. Seeing Master Tao the Enchanter get reprinted is not too bad, but I think it's already a common, both TCG and OCG. And Eye of Illusion, definitely a good reprint for the Illusion archetypes and their wave of support. So, what are my final thoughts on Hecatoncheire so far? Solid support, really good combination of things. They're going to definitely be focusing on their fusion while also being able to establish their board of monsters and dealing with your opponent's hand to either manipulate cards to go back into the deck or being able to manipulate the cards to bring to your side of the field so that you can fuse into Jawa and such to take over the board. I definitely want to see some more things from this archetype. Let's see how it flourishes itself out. And definitely just take things from there. So let me know in the comment section what you think of the Hecatoncheire. First off, if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. If I'm not, please syllables in the comment section if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. I think there'll be a decent to really good archetype considering that they're fusion based. And they're gonna have some really good lineup of cards to help support them, in GL. So, with that said and done, I'm going to go ahead, you guys, and get to editing this so I can upload it and then get me some food and eat, because I definitely sound like I need it. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy everything. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, as it helps out tremendously. Hit the notification bell to be informed when I upload more content to the channel. My socials will be in the description box below. And with that said, thanks everyone for watching. HBJ signing out. Take care.